Hello, this is Joe. Welcome back to the channel. Well, good day everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm doing okay. I'm out here walking. So I wanted to give you an update on, well, back in January I had hip replacement surgery on my left hip, and since then I've been recuperating, and as you can see I'm out walking. I'm back to using my old walking stick that I had been using for the last few years. It's kind of a chilly day, but clear and sunny here in Albuquerque. And I think last week and the week before last, we had a lot of bad winds in the southwest, and but nice and clear and calm today. Well, so my surgery was on January 17th, and I spent probably the next 2.5 or 3 weeks using a walker, and then I transitioned to using a cane. And even with the walker, I was going outside and walking up and down the street. With the cane, I started doing further walks, and now I've progressed to where I'm walking like well, up to several miles a day. That's pretty good. As far as medications, this is something you might want to think about if you are getting joint replacement therapy. As far as medications, they had me on some pretty strong painkillers and high dosages of Tylenol. The thing about the painkillers is you want to get off those as quick as possible, because they will affect your sleeping habits when you get off them, and negative aspects to them as far as your digestion. It's best to deal with the pain and not use the painkillers as much as you can. And then the Tylenol, they had me on 1,000 milligrams 4 times a day. 4,000 milligrams of Tylenol is the maximum you should ever take. So they had me on the maximum dosage. So it's not really good for your liver. So if you're taking the Tylenol for that, just be careful. Don't drink alcohol. In fact, since I had surgery, I haven't really drank much alcohol at all, because whatever harm I did to my liver with the high dosages of Tylenol, I'm trying to give it time to heal up, perhaps. Not that I was a heavy drinker before, but anyways, so back to walking. I did have an issue last week, week before last, where my quad muscle, that's the front muscle on your thigh, the upper part of it toward the joint, I kind of sprained it. I moved wrong, sprained it, and it's been really sore. Yesterday I just sat around and didn't do much, but I don't know what's causing that, but the muscles need to heal after the joint replacement surgery. There's a lot of trauma to the muscles. And as I told people, maybe the video where I told you about my surgery, I mentioned that this isn't really like delicate brain surgery. It's not like rebuilding a Swiss watch movement. It's more like heavy automotive mechanics. They're pounding on your bones, pounding the titanium spike into the femur, and all this big titanium screws being screwed into your pelvis and all this. So there's a lot of trauma going on and it takes months to heal from that. But here I am, I'm out walking, and that's cool. Well, let's see what's in the little free library today, huh? Papillon. There's a Papillon book. There's a number of paperbacks. Arthur Golden. Okay, some interesting books. Maybe I'll come back for one of these. Yeah, so we have a number of little free libraries in our neighborhood. And I had prepared for the surgery by getting a number of books from the little free libraries to read. Some of them I have not read. They ended up, well, the Miss Marple collection of Agatha Christie Miss Marple stories, I've got about halfway through them. It's okay. There was I can't remember the author or the title, there was a contemporary Japanese fiction author. I'm reading this book about a coffee shop in Japan where you can go back in time if you sit at a certain chair in the coffee shop. That's been okay. I've been reading mostly some photography essay books that my friend Ethan loaned me. So that's been kind of fun. So about a year ago or more, I made a video called Shadows. And it was inspired by taking these morning walks in the bright winter sunlight of New Mexico and seeing the shadows of the trees on the faces of the buildings. And I've always been kind of inspired by that. So we're coming down to a busier feeder street at the end of the block. And here we are on the busier street with more traffic noise. I'll try to hold the camera closer in. So I wanted to just mention to you about if you ever are needing hip replacement surgery, there's some things to think about. Your medications, your painkillers, the narcotic painkillers, you want to get off those as quick as you can. If they have you taking something like Tylenol over the counter, high doses, you want to be sure to limit those. And you basically have to kind of live with some pain. And also try to start walking as soon as you can. Walking is the best thing, as much as you can, even if it's on a walker. That'll help you. And also, if you can, before surgery, try to get into a habit of taking a mile or two walk every day to help build up your stamina, so when you are into the post-surgery phase, your muscles are conditioned enough to get back into a good walking habit. Well, now we're on the street that I grew up on. I didn't grow up in the street. And we're getting close to the house that I grew up in. And the front yard is decorated in shrubs and big rocks. In fact, my dad hauled some of these big rocks here, but some of the other ones, like this big petrified wood and this petrified wood, he had hauled in here. My two older brothers are both bachelors and they live here, and one of my brothers did this. This is the sword in the stone. And this petrified log has a hollow opening, and he drilled a hole in the tip of the sword, and he ran the sword through the hollow opening and then put a bolt on the bottom so you can't pull the sword out. But it's kind of fun. And the street that I would walk up on the way to school. And we have a lot of roadrunners in our neighborhood. This one in the front is puffing out his feathers like he feels under threat. There they are. So it's kind of interesting as I walk up the old street that I used to live on. I can remember certain houses where some of my friends would live, and we'd walk to school together. Get into trouble sometimes. I remember one time we were walking up to high school. There was this big empty field. There was a lot of these empty fields that were undeveloped. We called mesas. And me and my friend Eric started flipping matches, lighting matches and flipping them. And my brother was behind us. And all of a sudden we hear this, he yells, and we turn around and there's a big, huge fire burning. So we ran back and stomped out the fire and kicked sand on it. Finally got it out, and then we walked to school and smelling like burnt weeds the rest of the day, which, wasn't totally unusual, because back then in the early 70s, there was a lot of burning weeds, if you know what I mean, at high school. So I wanted to give everybody a thank you for all your comments and notes and concern about my surgery. Post-surgery, I'm doing pretty well, and I look forward to doing more activities and maybe more of these getting out and about walking and talking kind of videos. But until then, I wish you the very best. Stay creative and have yourselves a great day. Bye-bye for now. That's pretty typical.